Hello everybody, Tyranno here, and welcome to our first look at the main prize for the upcoming Battle Pass, which is the MC485, and this will be coming to the Italian coastal tech tree at rank 3. And this is essentially a German E-boat, an S-38B to be precise, that was used by the Germans during World War II in the English Channel and in the Baltics, was surrendered to the Allies at the end of the war, and was then sold on to a civilian company that used it as a cargo vessel. But in 1952 was then sold on to the Italian Navy, and they carried out a whole bunch of modifications to it. So it's got new armament, Italian torpedoes, and it's got a high mast for a navigation radar. And this ended up seeing service with the Italian Navy in the Adriatic and Ionian Seas, and wasn't actually retired until 1966. Now, before we look at the stats, I believe this has got the wrong flag. This has the Kingdom of Italy flag, I believe. I know the Italian Navy does have an ensign that looks similar to this at a distance, but no, this does look to be the Kingdom of Italy flag. And of course, as you all know, Italy stopped being a kingdom in the late 40s. Well, 1946 to be precise. Now, moving on to the stats, this has a different armament to the S-38B. So the German vessel has one 20mm gun at the rear, a twin 7.92 machine gun mount amidships, and 20mm cannon at the bow. The MC485, by comparison, has twin Bofors, both at the rear of the vessel. You can't shoot forward, the forward armament has been removed. So obviously that is a bit of a downside if you're charging at the enemy, but if you're in a broadside fight, of course two 40mm Bofors are going to be very powerful. And assuming that this has the same ammunition as the Italian MC490, you're going to be looking at a mix of AP shells and HE shells. And with the AP shells, you've got a penetration at 1000 metres of 58mm. So very powerful weapons. Like I say, a bit of a disadvantage if you're charging at the enemy, but in a broadside, those twin Bofors will absolutely tear most small enemies apart, and you can even be a bit of a threat to enemy destroyers and the like if you're attacking their armament and such. Now, it does also mention a change in the torpedo armament. Presumably this means that it's been given Italian torpedoes instead of the German ones. So again, the German vessel had the G7A torpedoes, which have a max speed in the water of 51 miles per hour, 82 kilometers an hour, or 44 knots. And this had a travel distance of 6 kilometers and an explosive payload of 358.4 kilograms TNT equivalent. Now, the Italian torpedoes, we're not told which torpedoes it has, but assuming this is fairly contemporaneous with the MC490, it will probably have the W200 torpedoes, which have the exact same speed, but a range of only 3 kilometers and an explosive mass of 200 kilograms. So a slight downgrade in that regard, but still decent enough, especially at very short ranges. And I'm not sure if this carries depth charges at the rear. It does look like it has some sort of rack at the rear, but you can't see any depth charges actually fitted. But if they are fitted, that will obviously increase the firepower of this vessel even more. And of course, it's a coastal vessel, so it's got virtually no armour. It's probably got the same anti-fragmentation armour around the bridge, and that's only about 10mm thick, so basically this is more or less completely unarmoured. And we're told the top speed is 39 knots, or 44.8 miles per hour, or 72.2 kilometers an hour. So this is a tiny bit slower than the S-38B, but it's still a pretty decent speed, a very nippy vehicle indeed for the Italian tech tree. And of course, because this is a premium vessel coming in at rank 3, this will be the first Italian premium vessel in the coastal tech tree. So that'll be very useful for the Italian Navy, and it is a very good alternative to the MS-472 and the MC-490, which have similar armaments, but, you know, not exactly the same, so they're all going to give slightly different advantages and disadvantages depending on which one you use. And yeah, all in all, I think this is a very good addition. It's nice to see a naval prize as the main prize. It's a bit of a shame it's a coastal vessel, especially when we just had a coastal vessel, but to be honest, this is the sort of prize I'd like to see. Something that is not quite a copy-paste, but a very unique vehicle, and while it is similar to the S-38B, it will play completely differently. And it's nice to see Italy getting some love in the coastal vessel tree. And unfortunately we don't get any clues about what the Battle Pass theme might be, although to be fair I'm not sure the themes have necessarily made sense with the vehicles in the last few Battle Passes. I mean, Her Majesty's Hussar vaguely made sense because obviously we had a British tank as the main prize, but then you had the Royal Guard Battle Pass, which included nations that didn't really have much to do with monarchies. So yeah, maybe we'll get a bit of a theme out of this, but so far we haven't been given any clues. Anyway, just a quick video for today. Hopefully you'll join me for future videos looking at the upcoming dev blog. I've been Tyranno, and I'll see you next time.